Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mupo and Friends. Our very special guest today is an actress and producer known for roles in Falling Down, the TV series Sybil, The All Nighter, and now she is starring in ABC's hit series Big Sky. Please welcome Dedee Pfeiffer. Hello,
Hi,
Dedee.
Yay!
Holly. Hey, Michelle. How are
So
you?
we are awesome that you're here
Oh,
for
thank
sure, for
you. Coming
sure.
right
We're
back at
already having fun. The party already
I,
started.
I know.
I'm
We
gonna
fly.
I'm
We
gonna let Holly.
yeah.
Usually, I ask the question about the location of. Go ahead, Holly, because I think she won this one.
Oh, right, right. You're actually in Canada
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, but you are a West Coaster.
Yeah, I hear there's a little competition with the
Yeah.
West Coast, the East
So
Coast. Yeah, I
so
hear.
I just got 1 point for the West Coast,
Yeah.
folks.
1 point.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, today's point. One
Oh,
more point.
who got it,
Eh,
Michelle?
No,
I did.
actually, Holly got it. She
Holly
got the.
got it. Okay. All right. We
Yeah.
got to represent.
So Dee Dee's Team West.
Yeah, yes, I am. Except for, and I'm actually still west because I'm straight up in Vancouver. Like I'm still in the west part of Canada. So is that a twofer for Holly?
That's a
Yeah,
twofer.
that
Yeah,
is a
I'll
twofer.
I'll
Yeah.
take it. I'll take it. Thank you.
Well, we gave you two, girl.
Sorry. No, but I have to ask.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love Big Sky. So after being a part of that show, it's about human trafficking, right? It has human trafficking in it. And so do you think that it helped raise awareness when people watch it? Because a lot of people don't know. Like, I won't go to a truck stop anymore.
Yeah, you might want to not go on a long distance through a small town road trip either without
I'm never going.
yeah, it's kind of spooky series, isn't it? It's funny, it's about human trafficking. I think it has brought awareness, but really if you look at it, the series is revolves around CJ Fox trilogy of books. So it's one of three or four stories actually. It's an element of the story, but I think it's also more about this crazy world behind the mountains and the beautiful panoramic gorgeous mountains of Montana and all the stuff that happens that's just textured and emotionally charged and a bit spooky, scary, sexy, naughty, and mysterious. And I think the show really, really represents that, especially in the pilot, right? Which leaves you going, what?
I did go, what?
I did too when I read the script. I went back and I reread the last 3 pages 4 times or something like that because I thought, oh, I must be missing a page. Or I read that wrong because I do have a reading disorder. And I read it and I read it and I reread it and went, oh my Lord, nope, that's exactly how they ended the pilot. Where do you go from here? Well, I'm here to tell you girls, buckle up. You're about to go for a bumpy
Ooh, I'm so
ride.
excited.
Like,
I am going to binge watch. When
it's
I saw the previews for it, I said to myself, this is a show I'm going to sit down, sneak away some time and
mhm.
just watch and
And
relish.
I saw
This
every
is
episode that
juicy.
was out already. So I'm just waiting for it. That I need the new version. I need the new episodes because
And for
I
those
had to
for
go back and watch it twice.
It's really such a fun series to film because like I said the characters so interesting. The writers have so much fun writing these scenes and all the characters and actors on this show are so different, diverse and colorful. And every time I read a script, one of them, I go, oh, okay, there's no way they can top that. And then they do. The next one, you go, oh my God. It's like, where are you coming up with this stuff? But also remember, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe on this show, including me. Like every time I read a script, I go, oh my God, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it this one? Is Denise going to, is Legarsky going to get Denise or whatever? Who knows what, right?
Wow.
It's fun.
so when you first got picked for this for the show and read the script, what did you think of your character and how did you I know you got you were offered the role,
Mhm.
but how did you end up developing your character?
Well, I gotta say, if there's ever a time where Mother Earth threw this gal a lifeline, My brother-in-law, David E. Kelly, hello, wrote the show, produced it, and is the showrunner and the whole thing. He had no idea. He threw me a lifeline. Just to kind of answer a few questions you're probably curious about. I was at the very end of a 10-year long academic journey trying to get my bachelor's of psych degree and my social worker degree so I could help people on a larger scale. I was at the very tail end of getting that degree at my internship, the Department of Mental Health, when I got a text out of nowhere. And David doesn't text me. We see each other at holidays. I mean, we love each other, but we don't hang, and we certainly never talk shop. He texted me out of nowhere and said, "Hey, are you still acting? I'm doing this show, and I think it's a perfect role for you." I almost dropped the damn phone, and I was like, "Well, is this guy joking me?" Because I was about to graduate with a social worker's degree and have not a clue of how I was going to support financially my two teenage boys with a salary that starts at $50,000 before taxes in Los Angeles. I did not know how I was going to make that happen. And I knew I wanted to merge hopefully my fan base. Thank God they still hung on. And with my degree and try to help people on a larger scale or level one day, but I didn't know how I was going to put it all together. So when he offered me this role, it just, I don't know, I could probably cry. He had no idea that he threw me a lifeline. And this is kind of how life works when hopefully your lens is about trying to help other people, right? What keeps me sane and healthy, my soul healthy, is to help other people. It kind of really came back tenfold. So now I'm on the show. And to answer your question, Denise is a lot like me already, but she's not completely like me because she's not divorced 3 times and 2 teenagers in tow and sitting here quarantined in Canada talking to you guys. But she's certainly I get to bring a lot of Dedee to this role. First time in 30 plus years I've been able to really pull from me. And that's kind of fun and kind of cool. She's a smart ass. I love it.
Sounds like it was that reminds me of that saying, "Givers gain," and you had this wonderful divine uh, intervention, not intervention, because obviously what you're doing with social work is great, but you really, at a time where the world was changing, this came at the right time. So that's incredible. And he puts out great shows. Great
Yeah.
shows, yeah. And
Yeah.
and this show is amazing, is amazing. I want to ask you about the social work.
Yeah.
What led to why the social work, and how I know you're deep into that and you definitely want to help people, but what is, when you say social work, what type of social work, like helping what kinds of people?
Well, my area of concentration revolve around those without homes, mental health, and substance use. Although my bachelor's revolved around gerontology as well. So I do not work with children. I never have. I think there are other people who are much better suited for that. I'm too much of a mama bear. I would probably get thrown in jail. Really, it's not a good idea for me to be. Yeah. So I deal with 18 or older and people in populations that are vulnerable, like I just mentioned. But what happened was I literally 10 years ago got frustrated with the industry because I just felt like at that point, 30 years, I'd been loyal to an industry that I didn't feel that was being very loyal back. And I was raising 2 boys that my industry was telling me getting old, it's not okay, right, basically. And the jobs were getting thinner and less and less. And I kept thinking, how am I going to make sense of this to my boys? How do I honor my truth and my values and then keep doing something that's just slapping me in the face a little bit? And at this point, I was also watching a lot of social issues going on, a lot of things in the world that I was getting really frustrated with that went beyond just me volunteering, which I did all the time. I said, no, I really need to do something. So that meant get a degree. I had no idea. I graduated in 1982. Do the math. No cell phones, no computers. Never. Thesis statement. What's that? Why is there an X? 2 plus X equals 5. That's a typo. Why is there an X in there? I mean, literally, I had undetected learning disabilities. I had not a clue what I was doing. Walked up to a community college and said, hey, I want a degree to help people. And they said, well, what degree is that? I said, I don't know. You tell me. And they said, no, that's not how it works. You tell me and I'll help you make that happen. And they said, what, a psych degree? I said, sure, that sounds good. So I just started, I had no idea what I was doing. I do nothing about academics and still trying to figure it out. And so they hooked me up with the classes that you need to be a psych student. through the years of studying, it took 4 years to get my AA because like I said, I was dragging 2 boys in tow. I discovered I had learning disabilities big time. So that in itself was pivotal for me because I was always basically told I was stupid. Put in reading group number 3 with Bobby who ate paste, and actually that's a true story.
I could relate.
Yeah. And back in when I was in school, that's what you did, you were kind of titled that
They
way.
had the A group, the B group, the C group.
Yeah, and the C group were, honestly, now looking back, we had to be the more colorful people by far in the classrooms, but we were not looked at as colorful. Actually, it was very, we were looked down upon. So I'm a huge advocate for the underdog. I'm a huge advocate for people who are a little out of the box, who are, who don't fit in social norms. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to be crazy about it, but that's okay. Just own it. There's more of, you're not alone. I'm over here with you. So I discovered I had learning disabilities, immediately looked over at my sons, and guess what? So did they. And never detected, or I had them assessed. So once those things are addressed, my education changed. I had help. I had tutors. I had extra time. There was a way in which I could get through college. So besides 1,000 prerequisites, because I didn't understand why there was an X in the math equation, I certainly didn't know how to write anything. It took me a long time just to get to a 5th grade education to get to the AA. 2 years to get my bachelor's at another community college, CSUN. And then I was able to get into UCLA to get my master's. I decided at that point not to go to psych, but the master's, social work, because social work addresses, at least at UCLA, macro, meso, and micro levels of social welfare issues, policy, community, and individual. So that's the lens in which I was taught, which I love, that perspective. And also looking at people from a biopsychosocial perspective. So when you look at a social issue or a person or a community or a policy, we're taught to look at it from all different lenses. And that to me is a really exciting degree to have versus just, psych, right?
It definitely is.
Yeah, I'm really excited about my degree. I want to get out there and
who knows
skills to other people. Like I want to share my education. Not everyone gets the chance to go to UCLA, and I got UCLA because I worked my rear end off. I spent a lot of time tutoring. Yeah,
you worked your butt off.
So maybe the writers though will write in the next season for you to actually treat some of these people so that they can see just what you can do. I mean, I'm curious though. So you were, you're away for 10 years, you come back in. What was your first day like? Did you feel like, oh my God, were you nervous?
Yeah. Well, the first day was right before the pandemic. We were in New Mexico, girls, filming. There was no pandemic when we started. We literally had one day we shot one day, and I flew home real quick to get the boys settled into Mama being in New Mexico to do the new show, Big Sky, when we were hearing this buzz about a pandemic, about you better get toilet paper. And I was like, what are you talking about? So when I flew home, I made the fatal mistake of going to Smart and Final. I'm traumatized to this day from that experience. I'd never seen more evil people of all colors, shapes, sizes, and genders and disabilities attacking toilet paper. And I just my eyes and reached in and grabbed like one of the last 5 bushels of it. And I was like, what is wrong with you people? So at that point, we were shut down. Everyone flew home. We regrouped, and now we're in Canada. So to answer your question, when we first started, I was very nervous, but I didn't get a chance to really get too nervous because we got shut down right away. And then when we regrouped, now we're in Canada. Everything's Zoom. I have not met half of these actors. Unless they're in the scene with me, I have not met them. I have not met half of the writers or producers or people that are involved on the show. Everything is Zoom. We social distance. We get tested now 3 times a week. We are in bubbles, A bubble, B bubble, C bubble. Very disjointed way of working. So I was really nervous because, like you said, I was out of whack for 10 years. But it is kind of like riding a bicycle. But can I say it's kind of nice to come back older? It was scary when I first saw myself on screen. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, what? When did that all happen with the whole da. That was shocking. Once I got over that, I realized it was nice to be mature and a little bit more centered and grounded. And when you get older, you have a little bit more of if you don't fucking like me, oh well. attitude. Kind of nice. And I brought that to Denise too, which is, you like
Nice.
it, nah, fuck it. When I was younger, I was very people pleaser, like me, love me, love me, like me. And that's really draining. It's kind of nice to be like, hey, this is it. Take it or leave it, you know. But the whole like gobble gobble thing on screen, I can do without that. Okay. We can, yeah. So you'll see Denise with some scarves. Yes, I'm hiding. That's called growing
I'm wearing
old.
a scarf.
Yeah, I'm talking.
I have a
That's
turtleneck
not
on. I have a
that's
turtleneck
not
on.
why, it's just
Growing
cold.
old gracefully is putting a scarf on that shit because I don't want to see it. Sorry. 'Cause otherwise, I'm like, oh, oh well.
You look
It's
great, though.
great. Yeah,
I think she looks
you're
great.
beautiful. You're
I'm really
beautiful.
hiding right now because I went around this little back cave all morning to find just the right place where the gobble was a little less like in your face.
You're funny. You're so funny. You're so beautiful and so talented. You don't have anything to worry about. And the most beautiful thing is what comes from the inside, and you've got that shine. You're just so you. And I think that's what's
She's the
really
real deal.
embracing. Even
She
you,
definitely
even you
is.
bring that to your character. Just that genuineness. Not everybody uh, can portray that or have that. It's something you have it or you don't.
Thank you.
And you really come from the inside. Speaking of Zooms, though, I wanted to ask because you're all on Zoom and connecting. So, are you guys actually rehearsing or doing any reads on via the Zoom? And how is it with technology and all that?
We were
Are
doing roundtable readings are usually in
mhm,
person. You get the script and you all sit in a circle or be a long table and the actors read it out loud. They do it for timing of the piece to see if it's running long, short. The writers get to hear the words come out of our face. Just it's just a really great way to just get it up on its feet before you
right?
actually get in front of the camera. We did that for a minute for our first few episodes via Zoom, and then now we're not even really doing that because we're filming really quick,
Hmm.
and like I said with COVID, especially the numbers going up now. It's just different. So no, we rehearse on the set, but all of the crew who has to be on the crew is on the crew. They're on the set. Then they actually leave. Then the A bubble, which would be us, because we will take our masks off to rehearse. Director and only just the people who have to be there will be there. And we rehearse right there on the spot. And then we go off camera to like a little tent. Everyone kind of almost has their own little tent, except for the cast can be together. And then they go back in and fix the scene and relight it and what have you, and then we go back and then we shoot it. Very, like I said, very disjointed for safety.
Yeah.
The intimacy, for the most part, is I'm not going to say gone, but it's not as intimate as it used to be. It was very strange in the beginning. I really missed that. I found myself
Mhm.
mourning, kind of like that rapport you build. Like I used to always go on the movie sets, even when I wasn't filming. I would go and hang with the other cast members and watch them film and root them on because I'm like I never got to be a cheerleader in high school. So I'm like a cheerleader now, right?
She
I'm
look.
like, yeah, I cheer on my friends and my sons. My sons would wish I didn't do that because it's really annoying to be a cheerleader. But now they're like, no, if you're not in the scene, you're not
Yeah.
even at the studio, let alone in the set or on the set. So
That's the new life now, it looks like.
Yeah.
and I'm not complaining. It's just I'm saying it's different. It's like
It's hard to be that natural feeling of you're like, hey, and you want to go up and hug somebody or, hang next to them. You can't have it. People are sliding out of each other's way.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, I had to leave to go to the car to go to the set, and there was somebody who came into the elevator with me. And I'm the most friendly person you're going to meet, but wow, I realized how much I had changed and that my responsibility is to keep these other actors and everyone who
Right.
works on Big Sky and the beautiful Canadians who let us come here to film all safe. And that
It's
means be
important.
smart, right? And that means
Mhm.
sacrifice a lot of stuff that I don't want to, but I have to. No, actually, I don't have to, but it's the right thing to do, right?
Right.
So that I'm not a hypocrite, preaching it but not doing it. So the guy jumps in the elevator with me, and I was like, "Whoa!" And he yelled. I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm in a bubble." And he goes, "Oh," and he jumped back out of the elevator. And I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then I'm like, do you want to come in and I'll get out? And he's like, no, no, are you sure? And so it was this really odd, weird moment that I kind of yelled at him and made him jump out of the elevator. Because I mean, and I thought, oh my God, Dedee, you really changed. I'm not that person. I'm like, come on in the elevator. We'll have a quick conversation as we go down to the basement. And one day soon. One day.
Yeah, one day soon it will change, but I think that everybody has to adapt. I mean, so one thing while we were talking earlier before we started, which I thought was very cool that you're an animal lover, so am I. And, you know, obviously you can't bring your animals here, so you found animals. Like, look, she's pointing.
The patio.
I think now remember I'm a social worker, so I actually can yeah, I can do a lot of things actually. I forgot that I'm a social worker sometimes. But my friends could 5150 me, which basically means put me into an environment because I'm not behaving in the spectrum of average or normal. So when I start texting everybody and taking pictures of Canadian birds and giving them names, Honeycutt, Jack, Kenny, these were my pigeons. And then my ravens, Thor, who's gorgeous. This is a raven. Thor, Rachel, his wife, and then their kids, Thor Jr. and Rachel Jr., RJ and yeah, RJ and Rachel Jr. and TJ, they're juniors, they're kids. And then Gilligan, which is this huge seagull, he comes out, he's got a lot of attitude. He comes and starts screeching, which I'm sure the neighbors in this building probably don't like. And because he's like, bitch, wake up, I'm hungry. And I get up like, okay. And I bought like 5, they're ginormous bags of bird food because I'm quarantined.
Good for you.
I'll feed them and I clean them after them. Trust me, they leave me lots of gifts. But they keep me sane. I've adopted them. I call them my hostages. I mean, my pets.
But you could touch them? I mean, did they let you pet them?
No, but today, Gilligan, I was able to get really close because Gilligan decided he didn't like the seed anymore. He wanted bread, which I shouldn't be eating anyways because it's carbs and goes right to my ass. So I was like, fine. And you can do the carb thing, Junior. But I said, if I'm giving you bread, then he let me get pretty close. But I take pictures of them and I create little stories and I send them to my boys and my sisters.
Oh, I want to see the pictures.
Oh yeah. I actually have some of them on my Instagram.
I'll have to check it out.
And some people are like, oh my God, you're so funny. And others are like, okay, I think she needs to be committed. This being isolated is, making her nuts. And I'm like, it's keeping me from jumping off the balcony. Actually, the birds are keeping me from jumping off the balcony because they're in the way. They're like right lined up for their lunch, breakfast, and dinner. So I can't really jump
because they're blocking it, obviously.
Right,
but
yeah.
How many pets do you have at home? Like, do you have dogs?
Yeah, rescued Rottweiler mix, which is my 5th Rottweiler.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, I love once again the breed that's misunderstood and no one knows how to take. And the rescue cat from a kill shelter. She's out of her mind. She was hand fed because there was a kill shelters don't hand feed the babies, so she was hand fed, and then we adopted her. She looked like she was on crack when we first got her. She was hysterical. She still acts like she's on crack. And then of course the rescue cockatoo who has a broken wing, who owns the entire house. And yes, the Rottweiler, the cat, and the cockatoo all cohabitate on the ground. They walk around together and yeah.
Wow. Cockatoos are tough.
That's got to be an Instagram story right there. You videotape it and put it up.
So I imagine my cat here. I went through incredible children. Yes, I do miss my boys too, but I'm not allowed to talk about them. But I miss my children, my boys, my teenagers who love to ignore me. And I love seeing the back of their heads when they're playing electronics. But that's what we do. That's how the 3 of us fly. I see the back of their heads. Sometimes they turn around. I'll give them a kiss on the forehead. Mom, no, not now. My fur babies and my feather baby. So being here has been really tough because I'm a people person and I'm an animal creature. So it's funny how you can literally find some random street bird and they can like give you peace and guess what? Purpose. You know what I realized when I got here? I didn't have a purpose. I went from being a mom, student, actor, all these purposes, social welfare advocate, to sitting in a bat cave waiting to be called on once every 2 weeks to work and having no purpose. That's like, whoa, I realized that's depression just waiting to happen. So now I got my buddies out there. Although Gilligan brought now 2 friends, Skipper and Angel. So now I have 3 seagulls.
it sounds like you found a way to deal with the changes and the lockup that we're
Yeah.
having in the world. And I think it's great because you're being in touch with animals is your desire to be in touch with nature. That's nature right there. And that's we all need that. It's so important to get out, to take a walk, to touch something other than the computer.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when we first got here, all of us had to quarantine for
Mhm.
14 days. And that literally meant do not leave where you were at,
Right.
period. Unless you were in like a house setting, you could go outside the house, but not in a neighborhood. Like, so most of us were in hotel rooms. So, like, I'm on the fifth floor here. So, this is my second time quarantining. I'm on day 8. That's why when I had your interview today, I was like, I have an interview. I have a reason to put some makeup on, meet some new friends. um, and yeah, you start to really appreciate some actors. Like, oh god, I have an interview. I'm like, oh, I have an interview. Yay. Yeah.
You're so grateful too. I've noticed that in researching you,
She's
you're
the
very
real
very
deal.
grateful, and that's a great thing. I want to go back a little bit and ask you. You did a movie called The Tub, in which you won multiple awards, including Best Actress. What were the character choices that you made that you feel garnered that that award?
The Tub is a short that I
Mhm.
produced and starred in, and I have to say, Margot Kessler is an older friend of mine. Not older, sorry, an old friend of mine, and she wrote it. She used to write. She wrote The All Nighter and a whole bunch of other beautiful material. A brilliant writer. She was ahead of her time. She wrote that, which was about suicide,
Mm,
and back in a time when no one was talking about suicide.
right.
So it was such a beautiful piece, an important piece, and it had humor and darkness, and it had all these textures and colors to it. Really profound. And again, the way it ends, I don't know if you guys saw it. You should look at it. The way it ends was very powerful. And um, uh, how do I say this? Suicide is something very personal to people. It's a private thing. There's a lot of feelings that go along with that. So when I approached that character, um, I was honored and to be able to play that kind of a role, to represent the complexity of somebody who's that much in pain inside to ever want to take their life.
Right.
That is a
It's
lot. I mean, we all hit depression. We all, everyone, we have some bad days, but when you go over to, I really don't want to live this life anymore, that's a whole nother thing. So
Yeah.
Margot handled that topic in such a beautiful way, actually, that I really wanted to do more with that film. I wanted to actually be seen as almost kind of like a template of what it can look like. Um,
Are you
to
looking to producing more things like that?
No, but what I want to do is produce a show where I'm gonna um, talk about social welfare issues.
Mhm.
Suicide absolutely will be
So
looked at under mental illness, mental wellness. Suicide's right in there.
so I
PTSD.
have a song called Suicide's a Waste of Your Time and that I've written in a rock version and an R&B version. And I seriously want 100% of that to go to teen suicide and suicide hotlines.
I
So
love that.
you could use it if you want to use it.
Thank you. Yeah, if I ever, I gotta
It's
said, I gotta we gotta get a second season on Big Sky to get me up and really, out there again. And then I want to create a show, like I said, where I can pull all these things together and help people on a larger level. And absolutely, especially after the pandemic and during the pandemic, suicide is like
yeah, well,
if
Oh,
we weren't
huge.
dealing with it before, we're gonna be dealing with it now for
we
sure.
could do a whole topic just on suicide. I think
And then
we should definitely have you come back for that.
Right.
mental.
I just like the fact that you did a show with Michael Douglas, The Falling Down. That was just amazing. That
Yeah,
was that's one of my favorite shows. That's one of my
I've
I
actually yeah, no, I saw that. That was great. That
guys,
was
guys,
great. Yeah.
at that time in my career, everyone was dying to work at all, let alone with Michael Douglas. That was like a
Right?
huge, like, oh, I gotta have a role with Michael Douglas, Joel Schumacher. Oh my God. I went to the wardrobe fitting and they put this hamburger on my head. And I was like, are you fucking joking? Really? I finally get to work with Michael Douglas and a guy like him or an actor like him, and with a hamburger on my head, I was like, oh man. So once again, thank God my training allowed me to go, wait a minute. Sheila has a hamburger on her head, but she's gonna work that hamburger. No hamburger's gonna make her not sexy and not have fun at work. And and then I start scoring the role from there versus bitching about the hamburger on my head. But I will say I was a little like, oh, he's gonna meet me with a hamburger.
Hamburger.
No, but like, I mean, you got
That's
to work with
great.
George Clooney, Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves. I mean, you rocked every role you did.
Thank you. Thank you.
She really did.
Yeah.
George is amazing. Keanu is amazing. They're great guys. It's funny when you see your friends working and stuff. It's like this. Okay, like when you see your friends, you think it's like you guys think George or Keanu, right? I think Keanu, I used to call him Canoe Head, and
I love him.
he was like D. Like no one calls me D. I would say it's DD. I mean, I don't care. I'm not an asshole like that. If you call me D, it's fine. But George would be like D. And I don't know, maybe it's that big, thick voice, but he'd be like, dude, you don't really need the other D when he says it. One D is fine.
One is sufficient.
I'd be like, it's not, okay, you can get rid of it. But they're really good people, you know what I mean? And it's like my sister, it's weird when I see her. Let me tell you a secret. Ask me if my boys are watching Big Sky.
Are your boys watching Big Sky?
I'm going to say no.
No, because when it came out, I was so excited, and all of a sudden it's like, Braxton, Maximus, have you seen the show? They're like, no, Braxton's like, I had a headache. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And the other one said I had homework. And I'm like, who says that, right? So I thought, this is strange. One had a headache, and the other one had homework. Huh, week 2. Okay, did you see week 1 so you can see the second episode? They're like, no. Braxton finally said, Mom, look, here's the truth. It's just too weird to watch your mother on TV. I'm not doing it. And I was like, I totally get that. I said, yeah, okay. All right, you don't have to watch it. So Maximus, did you watch it? He goes, Mom, I'm gonna be honest with you. I started to watch it. It looked like a really cool show. You came on and I shut it off and said, hey, I'm not watching it. It's just too weird. My mom. So they both were like, ain't happening, Mom. And I was like, I totally get that. Because it's weird for me to see my sister. I mean, she's Michele Pfeiffer to you guys, but to me, she's Shell, and it's still weird. It's like, it's weird. So I worked with a lot of actors. So I guess what I'm getting at is it is an impressive resume, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm also really grateful, again, there's that word, to have worked with incredible, not only talented actors and actresses, but people. They're really good people.
Right.
Yeah. And I haven't talked to anyone in 1,000 years, but I'm sure they're still good people. I haven't heard them or not. So
Evolving. Now, tell us about Sybil. That was a great show, a great role for you. You won a SAG award for outstanding ensemble. What was the character of Sybil for you like? How did you relate to her as far as your own life, and what set that performance apart?
Sybil was an amazing experience for me in the sense that I had never been a series regular.
Hmm.
That was my first opportunity to know what that is. I had been a guest star, but not a series regular.
Mm.
From that whole process of starting the show together from the roots out, so I was like a newbie. I just kept looking. I was like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. The whole experience was new to me. I was just like a sponge watching all these people who are so talented do it really well. I'm going to be honest. I was always a bit of a nervous wreck on that show because I was really insecure and I always thought I sucked. So, and I would go up on my lines because I get so nervous. And then I thought, oh, they hate me. They're going to fire me. And then sometimes I would just say, just fire me. Just put me out of my misery. You meant to hire the other girl behind me anyways. You made a mistake from the get-go. And that was really my journey on Sybil. Watching people like Christine Baranski. Wow. I mean, that woman just, just a dick. I remember thinking that was so funny because my dad's name was Dick.
Were the other actors helpful and interactive with you as far as helping you get through the learning phase?
Yeah, Alicia Witt, who played my sister on it, she
Mhm.
was also pretty brand new at the time. And so we kind of became like sisters. And Peter Krause, who played my husband, he was fantastic. We were not a show that where we all hung out together. Everyone had very different lives. Sybil, I think, came from the West Coast. Christine came from the East Coast. I pretty much, she had her family was there, so she was doing the bi-coastal thing. Alicia was brand new and really young. I had been on the air, but never a series regular. So it was a very eclectic cast again. Everyone, I think it was a different journey for everybody. I think the best way to describe that show is it was a different journey for every cast member. For me, it was very much a new experience.
Now, I got to ask you something because we were talking about music before. Do you sing at all?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I'll let my sister have that one. No, I'm tone deaf, and I dance. Where I can't sing, I make up for it with having some moves. I was on For Your Love. Most of the cast was black,
Nice.
and they were like, "Deja, look at you move." I'm like, I'm just saying.
Nice, nice.
Ooh,
Well,
I love it.
okay, so I know you said that you were into punk, obviously. So
Ska,
T-Rex, what about T-Rex?
the dinosaur.
No, T-Rex, the group. Did you ever hear of them? They were a punk group growing up.
Lori, my little sister, she was more of like the punk. I tried for like a minute. I was bad at punk because she did the mohawk and all that. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to,
Yeah.
cut blonde hair. So I did like the new romantic ska. So I like did the bi-level hair, flock of seagulls, just
Nice.
mess your hair up pretty bad, but I wouldn't like shave it and do the radical punk thing. Y'all were too crazy for me. My little sister did that. She looked really cute actually. So I was more new romantic ska, like Japan and Duran Duran and all that.
Duran was the joint
Oh
growing up.
yeah.
They
Oh
were
my God, they were the joint. I'm trying to get up, but then I find out that what I'm talking about lately is not up to date. So I'm trying, because I'm on the Instagram and I'm on the Twitter and
She's trying to get with the times.
Oh yeah, I'm the
pretty much. I say on the line.
I don't know anything. I just got Instagram and I still can't figure it out. I can't even figure out my phone. You kidding? My boys or I'll say something really cool. My boys are like, Mom, no, don't. I'm like, yeah, but everyone's like saying it. They're like, Mom.
Well, I learned that saying, "That's the bomb" from a 4-year-old, but this was years ago. I'm
Well,
still
I
saying
say
it.
on the line and somebody said, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "New Jersey." And then they were like, "How do you say coffee?" And I'm like, "Coffee?"
Coffee. My friend Carla Maluso says coffee. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like on the line. I'm sure other people say go on the line because you're going on the computer. It's on. What do you have to do?
Oh yeah,
It's
she does.
online.
She does that to me. I go, "What are you talking
Yeah, I
about?"
didn't get it either. I'm
I
sorry.
go, "Yeah." She means go on the internet, go online.
I thought maybe you want to blow a line of coke. That's
Oh my.
Oh my God.
you guys going to give this to ABC because I might lose my job. No,
No, we could bleep that out if you want.
they already
You're,
have seen me with my trash mouth already, and I still have.
you're hilarious. You're
Although on
hilarious.
this show I could go, so I should watch my mouth.
You know what though? God forbid, because if then I won't watch it because I'm
Oh,
telling you right now,
I'll tell
I'm a
ABC that.
huge fan.
Y'all won't watch if you guys
And I yeah,
keep the niece off.
and I have over 365,000 people on Twitter and 100,000 people on Instagram, so I could kind of push the issue.
Well, like they do in the
You're
in the
on.
courthouse when they tell the
I'm an
the
influencer.
panel, they say, you delete that or forget
Oh,
that, strike that out. You
strike
never heard it.
for
You
the
never heard
record.
it.
Yeah, strike
I'm,
it for the record. Meanwhile, I'm always like, they heard it. They were right.
Yeah, they already heard it.
Strike it from the memory. Do you want to give them a lobotomy? How does that work?
you really need your own show.
One day, but I'm going to help people with it. I'll be Dedee and I'll make it fun, but I also want to help people. I think we were talking about it earlier, right? Holly, you were saying that like when you have these mediums or these platforms or the celebrity this and the fans, that's why I'd always said when I got this job, I didn't think, ooh, I can get back on the air again. I certainly didn't want to see all the scobble on screen. Thank you. It was happening off camera with just no one noticing, but it was more about the first thing I thought was this is going to give me an opportunity to be on a level where I can help people on a larger scale.
Exactly.
To me, that's what was exciting. It was like a launch pad to do something bigger and better and more important to me. I didn't spend 10 years in school to get a degree to name Canadian seagulls and ravens and pigeons and look at myself, on Instagram. That's not
Well,
that.
it's like you were saying that you didn't, it's great and you're very grateful
Yeah,
to be on the air, but it's not just about watching you. It's you have a bigger message, and that's wonderful because you're actually leveraging, what you're doing
yeah,
with getting your message out to help other people.
yeah,
And of course, we all know that, when you have a following and people like you, people are bound to listen. So it's you being a great role model, setting up a great example of how, people can help and treat other people. Uh, people like yourself, when you see that, people are inspired. People want to get up. You want people to get up off the sofa, get up and stop watching and start
yeah.
taking action and start doing. And it's really inspiring what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I say keep doing it. Don't stop with the
I'm not
degrees.
stopping.
Um,
Not
you've
now.
got you've got the opportune time right now with what you're doing with the show and what you're doing on your own. You have a
And
lot, a
knowledge is
lot.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what else I've noticed is powerful is age. Like I said, you have two choices when you get older. If you're lucky enough to grow old, not everybody has the opportunity and are fortunate. A lot of people were losing them to COVID and what have you. I've lost people to cancer, AIDS, COVID, all sorts of reasons. And my parents lost a lot of people in my life. And so they weren't fortunate enough to be still in their bodies on this earth at this time. So those of us who get the opportunity to grow old. So we have two options. You grow old gracefully or kicking and screaming. The scarf is growing old gracefully. um, and the kicking and screaming is sitting here and lying to you and say, yeah, I'm 35.
They're right.
It's like, no, you're not. And that's gross. I mean, I mean, you're 57. That's gross.
They're right.
I say I'm
Somebody else.
53 all the time.
Yeah.
What was
My
growing?
boys made me 56 for 2 years. They lied to me. They said, I forgot how old I was for a year. I was in school. I said, how old am I? And they go, 56. I said, oh, okay. I was 55. And so when I turned 57, I thought I had actually turned 56. And my sister goes, what are you talking about? You're turning 56. I said, no, I'm turning 57. I looked at my boys. I said, you told me I was 56. I go, that's what you get for forgetting. They let me think I was 56 for an entire year when I was 55.
Nice.
That's how
Hilarious.
age is just like, whatever. It's a number. It has importance if you give it importance, right?
What
And
was
people,
growing up like for you and with your family? You guys, you sound like you must have come from a fun family, and you must have had
Mhm.
pretty cool upbringing.
parties,
No, no, I'm not, well, fun. We very average family, middle to lower income, 4 kids. Mom never drove, didn't work. Our dad was mm, he was a functioning alcoholic, so there was that element. And but I will say, so there was some dysfunction going on for sure.
Mhm.
So we were very, I want to say average. I don't think everyone lives in a house, but when you're a
Right.
child of an alcoholic parent, there's a dynamic that happens that, those of us know. So we kind of like raised each other a little bit, the kids kind of surviving. So we're very tight, the four of us.
that's beautiful that you're
How
tight.
did you get to be so? Because your energy is just so
She's born
beautiful.
January
It's
1st.
so
I'm
engaging. You have a happiness in your spirit. It's like a bubbliness about you that you seem to look. You definitely look to the light.
Thank you. It's actually important. You just said that light. Like, for instance, when people, I think that there's light and dark in the world. There's the yin
Mhm.
and the yang, right? Good and bad. There's, and that's what makes the circle. So we have the opportunity to see things. I've done a lot of growing, especially in the last 3 years. Um, yeah, I've I got sober there. First time I've ever said that on air. Yeah, I'm sober almost 3 years. That's huge. And
Congratulations.
Congratulations. So
thank
much
you. Yeah,
respect.
I want to start embracing that more too, and just making that like it's okay to own that. And I'm not going to say,
That
shh,
is great.
I'm sober. It's like, damn it, I'm sober, and I'm going to be loud about it. But the thing is that because it's hard work, it's not easy. especially during the pandemic and what have you. And there's a lot of people out there still hurting and in their disease, you know, and I want them to know that they're not alone. I certainly thought felt like I was alone until I discovered I wasn't. Um, but, you know, I think that when you say the light, um, for me, one of the things I think that helps me, there's two things. One is someone said something to me that changed my life. You have a story. You're not your story. And when I started to think about it that way, I thought, oh my God, when I was living, I was living that I am my story. You don't know me,
Right.
you know? Yeah, I'm going to drink because I have trauma. Your trauma is different than my trauma. My trauma is deeper and darker than your trauma, right? At the end of the day, when you throw all that bullshit apart, the bottom line is everybody is different and everyone's story is different, but pain is pain. Trauma is trauma, okay? And it's ugly and it hurts and it will kneecap you out every day. So until I started to look at my trauma, which went hand in hand with my addiction to drink. Of course it did. How could it not? And start leaning into things that were uncomfortable. I found the light again inside of me. And also, guess what? Just because we're adults doesn't mean you have to let the child go inside of you. There's always a child inside of us. Now, the child can't rule your world because then you won't pay your rent. You'll eat ice cream every day. Your child will run amok, right? But there's nothing wrong with letting the child come out and play when it's appropriate. Try this. I go into my boys when they're on their electronics and I'll tap them on the back of the head and say, tag, you're it, and run out of the room. You want to see a boy sit there frustrated? You have two choices. You are it, which drives them crazy. Or they have to leave the game and get killed, which drives them crazy. And then like, I don't know, hours later, they'll walk by and go, hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Tag, you're it, and run. And then they lock themselves in the bathroom. And now all of a sudden, I don't know, we're having a little game of tag, which can last years, by the way. And it does. But I have
Nice.
to be mom, which is not fun, but I also can be the kid. And I can show my boys what it looks like to let the kid come out and play for a minute.
To have fun, to allow yourself to be that child.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
maybe your child didn't get a chance to have that much fun. It's never too late. And my child I was an overweight child, very nervous, scared, insecure, and shy. So, and
Oh,
I hated school. But I loved animals. Animals were always my friend. No matter what, they were always nice to me. Even when they'd scratch me or bite me, I would, that's them communicating. So there's like
what
these
is your favorite animal?
well, what do spirit animal? Someone talked to me about a spirit animal is a lion, male lion with a big head.
Wow.
Ooh.
I have it even on my phone, my spirit animal. It's, I don't know why. I'm just drawn to, I don't know how to show you guys on my phone because I don't know how to work my phone. I was gonna show you my spirit animal. Anyways, how do you do, if you guys were here, you could help me. Anyways, I have this gorgeous picture of just this big male lion. When I was starting to do some work on my trauma, if you close your eyes and think, for some reason, this male lion's face kept coming to me, meant something. And I also was always drawn to male lions. I can't tell you why. They're majestic and breathtaking. I also think I like the idea that they're out there on the safari. They have all of these bitches, all of these lionesses doing all the hard work for them,
The
raising
king of the
kids, hunting, doing all the exhausting work. And they just get to sit there and look awesome and majestic and they're powerful
Regal.
and regal, right? And they get to benefit from all the work that their wives are doing. And being a single mother of two boys, I think that when I'm reincarnated, it's time that we flip that and I get to be the one that sits there and you raise the kids and I'll just love them. And, yeah.
You talk about reincarnation. So do you think you're on your like many lives, or do you think this is your first life here? Because I think I'm on several lives. And
I'm not going to say I don't believe in reincarnation because no one's proven to me that it doesn't exist. So my whole thing is, why not leave space and room for the possibilities of that being something?
do you ever have deja vus though?
Yeah. See, that's interesting. Scientifically, you can prove that it's a brain thing, but there's arguments to say it's something else. I will say this about reincarnation. My therapist, who's amazing, a very spiritual woman, said to me something I thought was so interesting about life and death and what have you. I don't believe in death. I don't think that the soul ever dies. That's one thing. The body decomposes when
Yep.
the soul goes on. But when people have been clinically dead and they come back, almost all of them say one thing.
They
I,
saw the light.
I saw light,
Yeah.
right? What's the first thing you see when you're born? You open your eyes.
Light.
If you look at it that way,
Hmm.
It's a circle.
it's a circle.
Full
So
circle.
when you pass to the light, are you really dying? You're leaving this body for sure, but maybe that soul is now waking up to see light in another form. To me, that circle makes a lot more sense than you die and then that's it. Because what's the point otherwise,
It's a
right?
transference, a transcendence.
I think
It's
so. But to me, that just, I mean, when I talk like this, my sister and brothers think I'm crazy, but and that's fine. Um, because whatever, this works for me. And it keeps, again, it keeps me feeling happy in the day. It makes me feel like life makes sense for me, right? And I think there's a lot to be said about the soul. So when it's traumatized, hopefully do some work on it to repair some of that or make sense of it, right? That's what that's about. So because I think if when the soul leaves to the light and it's damaged or hurt or not repaired or whatever, then when you come back around, you got to try it again, right? So hopefully the idea I
absolutely.
think is maybe trying to get it right, whatever that looks like for you and me. And that's going to look different, by the way, right? Our journeys are going to be different and that has to be okay. You can't have my journey and vice versa. That doesn't even make any sense, right? I don't even know your last name. You guys haven't been divorced 3 times. I have. Our journeys are different. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Do you,
that's, yeah.
I have a question. You're from obviously we're all around the same era. Do you have any tattoos?
Well,
Because
yeah.
are you going to get one now that you graduated just for?
Funny you say that. Actually, I was actually said, someone says, you still wear pigtails and you still getting tattoos. Aren't you old for that? And I said, in whose rule book? And who are you? And no, and you need to stop that nonsense. Don't even say that shit around me. It doesn't even make sense. You just took up air that made no sense. I have a few tattoos actually. My last tattoo is going to be of my son's name. I have Braxton on my back in Greek, Braxton Alexander, and it makes a perfect cross. In Greek. It's actually really beautiful. You can't read it unless you know Greek. My son Maximus Rickard makes an X. So he's going to be my last tattoo. And he's now 15. So I'm 15 years late. I've been busy. That's what I tell him. And he's like, I feel really bad. You can tell me the guilt I have. Um, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll get your tattoo. He's like, Mom, whatever. I don't even know why you're even getting tattoos. But my last tattoo will be of my son's name, but I can't get it in Latin like Braxton's because there's not enough letters to write his name, Maximus.
Right.
So I have to do it in Latin, actually, and then I have to fill in one more character to make a perfect X. I think I'm gonna do it on my
That's
arm.
neat.
Maximus Rickard.
And you will take their names with you
I love those
one
names.
day. So beautiful.
I do. That's why they're on my body because they're cool kids. And the X also, both of them have an X in their name because they're brothers. Like they were always gonna be together.
Powerful. And having two boys, you're very blessed. Two princes.
They are. They're freaking frack. They're so different. I
What
love
were
them.
what were they named? Like, was there a reason for the names, a meaning behind their names?
Yeah, Braxton. When I was carrying Braxton, I had tremendous early, dangerous early contractions
Mm-hmm.
called Braxton Hicks. They're not uncommon for a pregnant
Oh,
woman, but mine were abnormally early, like
Hmm.
really, really early. Like I was on bed rest. They kept giving me shots. I couldn't go like 2 feet and have to stop because I would start contracting. The little guy was just kicking my uterus, kept telling my body that I was in labor, and I
keep
was
on
like
it out.
5 months pregnant. I was barely showing. So it was dangerous. Yeah. So when I was trying to figure out what to name him, I wanted to be unusual but not weird. I wanted to mean something. So Braxton Hicks. I went, wait a minute, what is that? Because all I kept saying is, oh my God, Braxton Hicks, Braxton Hicks. So I looked, and sure enough, the early contractions were discovered by a doctor named Dr. John Braxton Hicks. And he named the early contraction, his discovery, after himself. So I thought, let's name him Braxton, but we changed
Wow.
O to E. My sister said, you're nuts. Why are you naming your son after contractions? I said, I'm not. I'm naming my son after the doctor who discovered the early contractions, because he's just one big fat contraction, early contraction. That's all he has been. She was like, "You're nuts." Well, it turns out to be the coolest name. And then
It is.
and then I couldn't name like my other son, Steve. Not that Steve, no, Steve's, it's okay. It's a great name. But we have Braxton, kind of like a strong name. It's got an X in there and it has
Need another one.
yeah. So I named Maximus Maximus because I, for some reason, wanted them both to have an X in their name, because the X represented one for him and one for his brother. They were always going to be together. And I also wanted them both to have strong names to give them a jump start in life. So Maximus felt right. And Maximus was a twin. Maximus was not supposed to live. I had lost a child in between Braxton and Maximus.
Oh,
And when they went in to see the ultrasound on Maximus, I had twins. Imagine me with
oh,
and they said, oh, with my age and my history of miscarriages and all that, they were like, he's gonna abort with his twin. And I was like, oh, that's nice. So I went home thinking that for a week or two, and I went back and they were like, oh my God, he's still in there. One of them, he grew into his sibling, I guess, or something. My body absorbed the twin. So I told Maximus that
wow.
he ate his twin and that traumatized
He's a
him.
little warrior.
He started crying when he was a kid when I told him
Oh.
he ate his twin. I didn't mean to scare him. I was funny.
That would have terrified me as a kid.
I know, he goes, I ate my
You
twin.
ate your twin?
I said that because I was being a smart ass and I traumatized him. I remember when you told me that, Mom. I go, I didn't mean eat. I meant like, it's actually funny. So Maximus, by the way, kind of grew into his name. He also came out Frank Breech, butt first, feet above his head. He tacoed, jackknife.
I'm sure he's going to love this part
Wow.
if he watches the interview.
Oh yeah. Two doctors had to yank him
I was-
out of me with his butt first. His ribs and his head were stuck in my rib cage. That one was nuts, Maximus. He came out yelling, screaming. He was purple. He smacked himself in the face with his feet. He was mad. He was peeing and pooing. All of both doctors who had to yank him out of me. And he's the most quiet soul you'll ever meet to this day, which is shocking. His introduction to the world was, I'm here. My twin didn't make it and I ate him.
What's the best part about being a mom?
The love you have for your child is like no other. I thought there was no other love that you could have for my sisters, my brothers, my friends, my animals, my parents, and all that. Your kid, it's a whole nother level of love. Like it's you can't really describe it. And I remember when Braxton was growing inside of me thinking, I don't think there's anything more important in the world than making sure that this human being comes out healthy.
God bless. That's
Right.
awesome.
Right. And then raising them is the hard part, because it's so easy to do it wrong. Man, it's easy to do it wrong and so flipping hard to do it right. They don't come out with manuals. You can read all the books, but it's hard. Parenting has got to be one of the most important jobs in the world and one of the easiest ones to do wrong. And man, you don't get a damn report card, by the way, either. You don't get a report card saying that you're a good mom or dad today, or, you don't even, but I just remember going, I don't know who this person is inside of me, but I love him. And when he came out, I said, I don't know who the fuck you are, but I love you. Who are you? And then you look at it and you go, I made that? I made a human being? Think about that. That is huge.
Beautiful.
You make a human
Yeah.
being. Right? I don't know.
You made a miracle happen. It's
And then
beautiful.
it's a miracle. But then, man, even to this day, being a parent, it's hard. You just hope, because you just want
So you don't get any support though from the fathers or the father?
Oh, they only have one father. He has a different relationship with his boys than I do. Yeah. I will say this about my boys: it takes a village. It takes a village. There's a lot of people involved with raising my boys, which
That's
is great.
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, right? I mean, in a perfect world, it'd be great if their dad and I stayed together, but we didn't, and that's okay. That's all right. We just weren't meant for each other. Makes great babies.
It's okay as long as the people around them, that's what's important. Are they have good support, good team of people that empower them in their lives.
Yeah, and
That's
his
what
family.
matters. And they've got the coolest mom too.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
You are pretty cool,
Yeah.
man.
I
I
keep
mean,
telling them
Yeah.
that
Being raised by you must be pretty cool.
there are days where they're like, "Mom." No, I don't know. I think one day I think they'll think that right now I'm just mom, no matter what. It's just like, why is she FaceTiming us? Can't she just text? Why does she do that? I'm like, I want to see your face. I made your face and I want to see it. And they're like, okay, there I see it. Can we hang up now? I'm right in the middle of the game. Oh my God, I love them. Do I love them so much?
They're
I
just
don't like
it's
texting either.
it's young, but it's so amazing. I think like I remember there were things about my mom that drove me nuts. I was raised by my mom, but when I got older, I was like, "Oh, thank God for you." I just so grateful, so thankful. I could see you reach that point in your life where you're able to see what it is, why, and understand, they were going that direction with you. And then
Well,
you appreciate it.
yeah, and my boys are very involved with my recovery, and I think
Mm.
that's also bonded us on a level that is like no other, because it's so important for me as a human being and as a person to embrace who and what I am and what I'm not. And it's important for me to like I went to school in the hopes to show my boys, not tell them
Right.
what higher education looks like. And this is a girl who graduated in 82 who couldn't even test into the 5th grade, when I started my academic journey, and like I said, undetected learning disabilities and the whole thing, older student, afraid to raise my hand, felt like, why am I here? What am I doing? I just want to help people. Why do I need to get this degree? Can't you just help me help people? Why am I taking all these stupid classes? Why don't I even know math? So, going through that journey, I was hoping would show them that at any age, gender, or time in your life, which I was in my 40s, you could go and get an education and then do whatever you want to do with it. Both my boys are like, nah, I'm not into college. So that kind of backfired. Not one of them wants to go to college, but that's okay. I went in my 40s. I had a whole career from 18 to 40s as an actor,
Mm.
right, and producer. I took a different journey right out of high school. So I can't be a hypocrite and say to my boys, you know, uh, I just wanted to show them what it looked like. They do know that I went to community college, by the way, and that is a fantastic route to go.
Mm.
The loans are little, and it's doable. And a lot of the professors really, I would not be sitting here with a master's degree if it weren't for a lot of the professors in community college and the counselors in the disabilities office helping me navigate the academic system with learning disabilities. Um, Fantastic people out there. And so, yeah, I got 2 kids who don't want to go to college, but we'll see. Maybe they will when they're in their 80s.
Things
Make it work.
change. You
Make me
never know.
work. Yeah, it's their journey. I just said I want you to be happy, whatever it is you decide to do. That
Yeah,
you
I didn't go to college and I'm still trying to educate my mind. You don't really, it's life is just something that you have to take every day and be blessed that you woke up the next day. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
they'll get to that point. Trust me, when they get to an age, they're going to say, wow, I need a change.
Well, yeah, and I showed them that it is possible. I mean, there's like because everyone's like, I can't believe you're not making them go to college. I'm like, I would like for them to go to college, but honestly, it's like remember I think I mentioned you guys earlier. You can lead the person to water, but you can't make them thirsty. You actually can make them drink. By the way, I could pull them on. You're going to college. That's making them drink. That's different than leading them to water and not being able to make them thirsty. When you lead someone to the water who's thirsty,
Right.
that's a whole different trajectory, right? I'm a big believer, plant the seed, plant the seed, plant the seed, just plant it. Because I always tell them stuff and then they come back and tell me, look, you know what I heard on YouTube? Or like my friend said this. And I'm like, I told you that when you were like 3, whatever. And they're like, no, you didn't. I'm like, but it sounds better coming from their friends, right? Or YouTube, or their YouTuber friend, person, people they follow, and I'm like, okay, take my ego, throw it out the door. As long as they got the message, whatever it was I was trying to tell them, they heard it from somebody else, even though I told them first. I was like,
Kids, you need to watch her on TV because this show will make you wake up and look at the world in a different place.
We'll make him never leave the house after
Yeah,
going.
no, for real. I don't even want to go out. Like I got an opportunity to go to New York to see the ball drop, and I was in bed at 10 o'clock. Well, I mean, it was just I could have been backstage, and I just said nope.
Well, this is a great time for anyone that hasn't started yet to watch Big Sky. And speaking of which, I'd love for you to share with your fans what, if there's any tidbits that they have to look forward to, which I know they do, but any puzzles you can drop.
This is
Nope.
such a tough show to talk about with
No.
all
Yeah.
dropping little nuggets of
Yeah.
Just
fun.
watch it. Everybody just
Just
watch it.
watch it.
Let's just say this. I love to say this. Nobody is safe on this show. Surprises around every corner, and the journey to get to the surprise or the cliffhanger or the oh that just happened is so fun because the characters are fun to watch. You hate us, you love us, sometimes both at the same time. Like Ronald's character, you really think this guy needs to be institutionalized, and at the same time you want to hug him and protect him and be like, wait a minute, I think he just needs love.
Right.
Also needs to be arrested, but he also needs to be loved. So there's a lot of, we're going to really pull up a lot of different emotions and feelings, and it's something really fun to check out for a minute during a really tough time in our world right now, in our country. I'm really proud and honored to be part of a piece that's entertaining, to allow people to check out for a minute. No one's checking out completely. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. But how about just for a minute? Because what we're dealing with right now in the world is a lot of really heavy things. So I get to be part of helping people get through that, including myself, by be part of something to watch. Once a week, unless you binge it, then you can really kind of really do it. But once a week, Tuesday nights, Big Sky, ABC. I'd say that. I want to continue.
And it's on at what time?
10 o'clock, but that's West or California.
East. No, I
East
thought it was
Coast.
East Coast. 10 o'clock East Coast, I thought.
Check your
East Coast.
check your schedule. Yeah.
East Coast.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure because after the meeting, we have a company meeting at 9 o'clock, and it 10 o'clock, it's like I have to DVR it sometimes just to rewind to see what happened, and I get aggravated. I'm like, we got to make it shorter. And she's always telling me
Check your guides on your channel, on channel 7 at ABC.
And if you make it
And
on Hulu, you could catch up on the first 5
yes, on
episodes.
Hulu.
With another
I watched it on Hulu too. That's how good of the show it is. I watched it on Hulu as well. I binged it again. That's what I did the binge, but I watched it live on ABC. So it is a really, really, really good show.
Thank you. And
Do both.
Without telling you anything, I promise you, it gets even crazier. Somehow, this show gets even crazier than those first 5 episodes. I promise you that. And you can tell me on my Instagram, Dedee Pfeiffer Official, if I'm wrong. You can just come and just say, it was not as fun as the first 5. The next group of episodes that are coming are just, they made me sweat when I read them.
Before we get off, please tell the girl that you said you had a story about Instagram.
Oh,
you deleted her by mistake.
Yeah.
She told us, everybody.
Yes.
Catherine has a fan. Catherine, she plays Jenny on the show. She's kind of hugely popular. She's got like 1 billion people who follow her. And I accidentally unfollowed one of her fans because when I first got Instagram, I had not a clue what I'm doing. And you so sweetly said to me, you're following me. I'm not Catherine, because I thought I was following Catherine. It was one of her fans. And then I accidentally unfollowed you. And my publicist said, don't unfollow them. They're going to think you're a jerk. And I did that by accident. I was just pushing buttons. And so whoever that fan is, I'm really sorry. I'm not a dick. I'm like, can I say that?
Yeah, you could say whatever you want.
I'm not a dick. I'm really not. I apologize. So whoever you are, please follow me again, and I will follow you. But you need to say, "Hey, it's me. I'm the person that you totally unfollowed." Because
Watch, you'll get like 1 million things.
I know,
right?
I gotta follow everybody.
We want to know who that girl is. So please go to her Instagram and if it's you, if you see this, if it's you, let her know. Let her know.
She was so sweet to say, "Hey, listen, I want to let you know you're not following Catherine. I'm one of her fans, but please don't follow me. Don't unfollow me." And I unfollowed. Just like, what the heck?
Dedee,
I can't be trusted on social media. I cannot be trusted.
You are so much fun. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for stopping in, for spending time with us. We had fun before we got on. Now it's been Amazing. I like to do we like to do a fun thing before we leave, and it's a little fill in the sentence. So I'm going to say a quick
Oh,
little phrase.
I
I'm going
love
to
it.
do three of them, and you respond. You finish them. So here we go. Uh, I'm most proud of.
My children.
What inspires me?
Love.
My mantra for the life.
I have a couple.
You can say them both.
You, I think I get this right. You're not a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. And stay in my own lane is a big one. And I have a story. I'm not my story.
And what's one thing you'd like to say to your fans and anyone out there who's inspired to be in the entertainment business?
Well, first, I have to say thank you to my fan base because I don't know who they are, but they are so lovely, and I'm so grateful that like that every time I get a job, I think I should be fired, and they like my work, and then I take off for 10 years, and they're still around. I just want to say thank you when they say, "Oh, you're back." That makes me feel really good. I feel like Sally Field. Oh, you really like me. I feel, yeah. I don't know if you're older in the generation, you know that was a no-no. I just want to say I do really appreciate my fan base. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, do. There's a lot of actors you could follow, so the fact they follow me says something. I think if you want to be an actor, honestly, it's this: get into a really good workshop. A really good workshop. Save your pennies, your dimes, your whole thing. I worked at a female oil mud wrestler, paying my way through acting class, illegally cocktaailing. Long story. You could do that back in the 80s. My boys didn't know that. They might now know that. Anyways, they don't watch me anyway. They don't know. So get into a really good workshop. Don't think of headshots. Don't think of an agent. Don't think of any of that stuff. Get into a really good workshop with somebody who's going to teach you like what it really means to be an artist actor, not an actor's actor. And there's a difference, I think. And ask yourself why you want to be an actor. Why? Is it for the fame and glory and all that? Okay, well, good luck with that. Have fun. But there's not a lot of soul in the profession generally. I'm not making a critique or anything, but that's kind of the truth. You have to find soul. You have to kind of find it. So you're not going to get it in it, and it can suck your soul too if you're not careful. So it's important that you're doing it for the right reasons. So find why do you want to be an actor? What does entertaining mean to you? Get into an acting class and start bringing it up on its feet. Start doing theater, local theater. Although in a few minutes you say, "Oh, that's beneath me. I want to do TV or movies." Then I think you need to question why you want to be an actor. Because an actor acts. An actor gets paid to wait and acts for free.
Beautiful. Thank you,
Title.
Dee Dee. Dedee Pfeiffer, everybody, from Blue Sky, Tuesdays on ABC. Check your listings for the time. Please follow Dedee on Instagram at Dedee Pfeiffer
Official.
Official. Dedee Pfeiffer Official. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Mupo and Friends. This is courtesy of Mupo TV. You can watch our show at www.mupoentertainment.com. That's www.mupoentertainment.com. As always, this is Holly Lombardi with our beautiful, wonderful, amazing CEO and mastermind, Michele Mupo, and the gorgeous, the bubbly, the amazing actress, Dedee Pfeiffer on Blue Sky, Tuesdays on ABC. Don't forget. And we are over and out.
Bye. Have a beautiful rest of the day.
You are awesome. Well, I'm going to stop this.
Oh, thank you, Michele. So are you guys.
You
You guys are
are
great.
amazing. Thank you.